Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Taylor, and today we'll be talking about Martin Scorcese, one of the most legendary actors to have graced the silver screen. He's directed movies Goodfellas, Casino, Raging Bull, The Irishman, Wolf of Wall Street, Shutter Island, Departed, you name it. He has really just knocked it out of the park throughout his whole career. And I want to just talk about him just in general, like how much of a great director he is. And the way and I notice like a common theme with his movies is when it comes to the protagonists, they always start with humble beginnings. They're bright-eyed, they're ambitious, they want to do well, they want to achieve a greater goal that's above them. Then once they enter that new world, they realize how they have to be. They realize that this world that they have entered, even though it's part of their dreams, there is negativity that will corrupt them. And the protagonist is always ambitious, pure, timid before entering into a world where it will corrupt him, change him into a super antagonist, somebody that represents the environment they live in to the extreme. Thus, the protagonist becomes his own antagonist. However, this does lead to his rise to greatness. He's on top of the world. He owns his own business, like in Wolf of Wall Street and Goodfellas. Has a house, has a family, and makes a lot of money. There's like some greatness to it. And Raging Bull, he's the world champion. He has everything. However, there is that downward slope that happens. The main character slowly loses everything through drug addictions, through other women, through money, through crime, and it just really shows the rise of the hero and the downfall of the hero, which then leads to the fall to mortality. The hero has become mortal now. He's back to square one, but he's much older, he's much wiser. And I think there is a beauty to that, because the one that has to understand the message from the movie is not the main character, it's the audience. Now, the way that Martin Scorsese does this is he makes the characters relatable to the audience to an extreme point, whether it's like friends or mentors or girlfriends, wives, anyone. He kind of finds that niche where, oh, I know a person like that, or I know people like that, thus creating a connection with the audience. And I think that really just makes the movie more relatable and draws the audience in. Now, through the main character's journey, the main character is always given an out from the world he has entered. But whether it's addiction, responsibility, or any connection he has to the world, the character simply cannot leave and risk everything for one last ride on this adrenaline-fueled roller coaster he just wants to hold on to, and he's willing to go down in the blaze of glory. And I just find that theme so real rather than just a constant high where, like, okay, the main character, he didn't have anything at the beginning, then he achieved his power, he beat the bad guy, and now it's just a happy ending. It's just a more realistic take on the hero's journey. And just to talk about more into detail about like some of my favorite movies from Martin Scorsese, Goodfellas, classic, scenery, the characters, the atmosphere. He just makes it feel so alive. It's like being told what it was like during that time from an older relative. When it comes to that, especially The Irishman and Mean Streets, the way The Irishman brought out the city, brought out union labors, politics, everything was just so real. But it's still a movie. And then when you go back to Mean Streets, you see all these old delis, you see all these people walking around in New York. And you see Italians, the different types of cultural hubs within like a small state like New York. And it just makes the city a lot more alive. It's not tall buildings that makes Manhattan. It's the people that live in there. And when it comes to music choice, I think it's kind of Martin Scorsese's music choice is underrated. It could be like a hip tune that was hip old tune, and it could be played while someone's getting murdered, and it would still fit right in. And the way he shows violence, like he doesn't just show like a bloody body, he shows like the blood spraying on the walls, like in the flashes, the photography flashes, just to emphasize on the action. But I also have to give respect to Martin Scorsese for going out of his comfort zone and making movies like Shutter Island or Raging Bull that have nothing to do with the mob or mafia genre. With Shutter Island, it was thriller movie. Another underrated movie was Silence. I've yet to see that. I really want to see it. It stars Liam Neeson, Adam Driver, and Andrew Garfield. Okay, there you go. And it's about these two priests that go to old but like old samurai Japan, and they try to spread the word of Christianity. But the way the Japanese see Christianity, it's like sacrilege against their religion. There was one part in that movie where they tied these guys who were like follow the Christian religion, the Japanese people. They tied them to bamboo sticks, and they were then placed like a cross on like an edge of a not a cliff, but it was being like hit by waves from the ocean. But at that time, they got the scalding hot water, and slowly they poured the hot water, slowly torturing the people that followed like the Christian faith. What I want to say is that Scorsese has like the capacity to go out of his comfort zone and direct something new, something fresh. With Shutter Island, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Mark Ruffalo, and Ben Kingsley was in there too. It was a thriller, like psychological horror. It was one of the best. It really opened my view on horror movies or thriller movies than just like the typical exorcism or like monster movie or slasher films or even like ghost stories. It really showed like horror that your own mind produces and like how scary other humans can be. Because what was really terrifying about that movie, it wasn't the scenes of dead bodies or like the past trauma that Leonardo DiCaprio's character went through. It was the unknown fear that this might be real or this might be fake. They might want to really help Leonardo DiCaprio's character, or they want to trick him into being crazy, so they keep him here because apparently there's some dark secrets of lobotomy that goes on in that mental asylum. Switching that to say Raging Bull, and there's another movie called Aviator starring Leonardo DiCaprio, and there was a movie called Hugo as well. I've yet to watch that too. But back to Raging Bull, which stars Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci. It's about forgot the name of the boxer, but he's very famous. This is kind of based on true story, and it showed like back to like what the revised way of the hero's journey. It was a low-class boxer trying to fight his way all the way to the top, become world champion. But when he did become world champion, he got the girl, he got the money, he got the kids, he got the house, he got everything. But just his personal demons of not being able to trust anyone, the abuse that he had towards his wife and towards his brother, who's played by Joe Pesci, who's also his coach. His ability not to be able to trust anyone and his temper really led to his downfall. So much to the point where he ended up in prison. But then when he got out, he gained new wisdom, and I think he started a career as a stand-up comedian. So there is some sort of happy ending. Well, not to all Martin Scorsese's movies, but there is a satisfaction towards every movie. And I just want to say, like, when it comes to like, I wasn't sure if The Irishman was going to be his last movie, but I hope it's not. I just want one more, maybe something outside of the box, like a Shutter Island or like a Raging Bull, but something, just one last one, because personally it would be very sad to see like such a great director like Martin Scorsese to officially be done with cinema. And I think he's going to be one of the greatest, arguably the greatest director. Well, that just about ends this episode. My name's Taylor, and this has been Spotlight. Thank you for watching.